Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Courtney and I'm a full-time reseller on Poshmark and eBay. And today I'm here with a what sold 10 surprising sales from the month of June. I used to do weekly what sold 5 surprising sales, and then I just decided to switch to a monthly format. And all this is an opportunity for me to share a few of my sales and of what sold and why they surprised me. So not all sales are going to surprise me. If I look at the comps and it says, yep, these sell for 20 to 25 and it sells 20 to 25 and it sells in a month, it's just not that surprising. So for me, the ways I learn are usually through the ones that are either took too long to sell, were way quicker than I expected to sell, sold for more than I expected, or sold for less than I expected. So I just chose 10 surprising sales from eBay for June. And yeah, I'll pop in some pictures. If you are new to the channel, definitely consider hitting subscribe down below. And if you enjoy these what sold surprising sales videos, the thumbs up lets me know I should continue doing them. So first up is a pair of sandals. This was an item that I found at the Goodwill bins. They were by the brand Bed Stew, and I believe they were the Soto sandals. They were an 8.5, which is my size, and it was very tempting to keep these, but I knew the comps looked, I can't remember what I said in that video, but they sold for $55 plus shipping. They sold in less than a week on eBay. The reason this surprised me is how quickly they sold. I think they actually sold within a couple days, but also that they sold on eBay and not Poshmark. It's kind of a brand. I get this question a lot. What do I choose to put on eBay versus Poshmark? And I always tell everyone I cross-list everything that can be cross-listed. And the reason is because if I had to choose, there are certain items that surprise me that they sell on one over the other. I've sold Clark's, I've sold Coldwater Creek on Poshmark, and those are brands that people don't tend to associate with kind of Poshmark being trendier. Although some Clark's are really trendy. So maybe that was a bad example, but maybe the comfort ones. And then there are brands like Free People and Anthropology that some people say, I don't list on eBay because they do better for me on Poshmark, when in fact, they do well for me everywhere. So, or they sometimes do. So I was really excited about that sale, and she was excited to get them. Next up is a shirt. I bought this at a regular thrift store. It was by the brand Rain Spooner. It's the first time I picked up this brand, and I've seen other resellers talk about how the value has gone downhill, or that it just really depends on the print. And I found this, and it was a law enforcement. I can't remember, but it was like police or law enforcement print all over it. It had police cars, it had a policeman, and it was really kind of loud, and I thought, oh, that's perfect. I mean, I actually live around a lot of law enforcement, so I was like, if no one buys it, I'll just go give it to a neighbor, because I'm sure someone would love to have a casual shirt that kind of displays what they do. So I kind of envisioned that this was perfect if a cop went to a school for some like career day or something, that he could wear that and the kids wouldn't be so scared of a uniform. I don't know. That's kind of what was going on in my head when I found it. But I priced it at $69.48, and I priced it on both platforms. And I actually got, I think, 3 lowball offers on Poshmark. And I countered because it hadn't been listed for very long. It sold within 2 months, but it hadn't been listed very long. And I was just getting these, $19 offers. And I'm sitting there going, I mean, this is the first time I've experienced this brand, but I just feel like there is value to this. And so I countered, and they would just ignore the counter. And then one day I woke up and there was a full price purchase of $69.48 with shipping paid for, which I think was $4. And yeah, it was extra large. If I didn't say that, it was going to a new home, and I believe I received positive feedback on that as well. Next up is a vintage Presto hot dogger. Oh man, this was one of my favorite finds ever. I found it at the bins. It had comps, so I knew people were buying them. I'm not sure who. I didn't test it. It clearly was never used. The box was a little dingy, but just so much fun. If someone bought this and was going to have it at a party, like a hot dog party, I don't know. Is that a thing? Is my question. But it sold for full price for $29.48. It took a couple months to sell. a little less than 2 months to sell. And yeah, I was just really excited that it went to a home, and it just made me happy. So I hope it made someone else happy. But it sold pretty quickly considering I didn't really know what to expect. And yeah, I just like picking up those strange things, especially when I can find exact comps for them. Next up is more of a disappointment, surprising sale, which was a Lafayette 148. It was a black blazer, and it kind of had this silver sheen, silver thread kind of sewn throughout it. It's hard to see from the picture of the faraway shot, but the close-ups were a little bit better. So I had this cross-listed on both, and I think it took way too long to sell. It took about 6 months to sell, and it was a size 16, and it had immediate interest. I tested it out on auctions. I tested it out, like, offered likers on Poshmark. I just figured that it was such a classic with a little bit of shimmer, and it was a 16. I just figured it would fly, and it's a great brand too. This brand is just very hit or miss for me, and I feel like what I'm learning is the kind of more traditional looking stuff like blazers and dress pants or skirts are not that great for me, maybe other people. And maybe I priced too high. Maybe the value has gone down, who knows? But it took way too long. It sold for $26.99 plus shipping. I think all of these are plus shipping. And I was really disappointed. The other thing I was disappointed in is I got an offer pretty early on when it was listed. And I believe the offer was for 40 or something like that. And I countered because it was within a day or two of listing it. I thought, no, this is worth more. I should have taken that offer because it wouldn't have sat for almost 6 months. I would have got more than I got. And it's a gamble sometimes. So you live and you learn. That brand I'm not as excited about as I once was, unless it's a really unique item that will photograph well. But anyways, the next step was a dress by the Anthropology brand, Maeve. Hands down one of my favorite items I've ever thrifted. I thought it was gonna fly. It was an extra small, but the print was just gonna photograph well. The style was kind of an easy to wear style. It was silk. It was a kind of a shift style. I thought it was gonna fly. And I have not had a hard time with extra smalls or anything like that. And it sat, and it sat, and it took about 4 or 5 months to sell. And that surprised me just because I thought the pictures were great. Yeah. So it also surprised me that this sold on eBay because again, it's Anthropology and it was a very trendy style, and it didn't budge on Poshmark. So it sold for $35, which is not a bad return. I just wish it had sold a little bit quicker, and I was surprised that it sold on eBay and not Poshmark. Next up was a Melissa McCarthy. Is it McCarthy or McCartney? I'm not sure. I'm having a blank right now, but her 7 line that she has, the plus size line that she has, this was a black sleeveless tunic. It had a print on it, and it was a size 1X. I thought this was adorable, and I've heard people say that they just love picking up this brand because it just flies for them very quickly. And I haven't actually experienced that. I have sold some of the stuff, but some of it I haven't sold, and it doesn't get a high return. So I don't know about this brand. I thought it was a cute top, and it was perfect for summer, and I think I listed it in spring, but it took 6 months to sell, and it's only sold for $12.50 on auction with buyer paying shipping. So yeah, just kind of disappointed. That brand is not as consistent as I think I would have assumed based off of what other people say. So, and multiple people have said it, so it might just be me. Next up is a Lululemon purple yoga strap. And the reason this surprised me, and this surprises me with some Lululemon items, is this yoga strap resold with some damage for almost the full price of what it was. I believe this yoga strap, although this color is no longer sold, is only new is $15 or something like that. And I sold it for $10.50 with some clear stains and damage. So it's just interesting to me. I know sometimes I get questions or comments about why would you price something so close to retail if you know the retail price? I use an app called Completely it's an iOS app or an iPhone app that you can download to look up eBay comps. And I use Poshmark comps as well. That's usually like the gauge that I go with, but I go by comps. And if comps are telling me that something might sell for close to retail, even used or even with some damage, then I usually try to trust the comps. So that's just me, and it just always surprises me. That also sold very quickly. It sold within a couple days. So next up is a Nicole Miller purple print silk dress. I found a couple of these Nicole Miller silk dresses. One was kind of a patchwork, and that sold pretty quickly. I want to say within like a month and a half, 2 months. And this one, it took 5 months to sell, and it was beautiful. Again, it was just a vibrant print. I knew it would photograph well. It was a size 6, but again, I don't notice major trends with sizing or certain sizes not selling. And it did sell for $45, which is not bad, on eBay, which is great, but it just took a little too long for me. And yeah, it's too bad because I really like Nicole Miller, a lot of the items I find, but I've been finding that I leave more of it behind because it's not a quick seller for me. 2 more. Next up is a pair of heels. These were Spanish leather collection, and I meant to look up where this is sold so that I would be prepared, but you do what you can do. I do what I can do. But I don't know where this is sold, but it had some immediate interest on Poshmark, and then when I finally cross-listed it to eBay, it had some interest there. So it had interest. It had people watching and liking, and I think I priced it originally at $49.99 based off of, you know, probably wanting to get $35 to $40 for it. And it kind of sat for a while. It sat for about 4 months, and it had the interest, which gave me the initial thought that it was going to be a quick seller, and it just kind of sat. So they did sell for $29.69 on eBay, and you know, it was an auction, so it was the one bid, but glad they went to a new home. I'm glad someone's going to enjoy them, but I just kind of expected that because there was initial interest that they were going to sell quicker. And then the last step was a NSF, that was the brand, blouse. It was gray, it was short sleeve, it kind of had this wrap style, even though it wasn't a wrap shirt, but just, this brand surprised me. When I found it at the Goodwill bins, I looked up the tag because it looked like an interesting tag, and sure enough, things were selling for over 100 for certain items. And I was just, wow, it's just a very unusual brand, unusual style. I can't remember the other ones, but I didn't see the appeal too much. I mean, it was kind of funky, but I don't know. Anyways, so I had priced it, I think, pretty high originally, and I ended up, sometimes I roll things into auction because I'm testing out auctions. And we've been getting free auctions on eBay a lot this summer. So I rolled it into auction. I brought down the price, I believe 40%, and I got one offer for $56.69. Buyer paid shipping. And yeah, it sold within less than a month. And it's always pleasantly surprising when something sells of a brand I'm kind of uncertain of and sells quickly. So anyways, those are my surprising sales for the month of June for eBay. Keep an eye out for either before this or after this video on my Poshmark 10 surprising sales. And I hope this is helpful. Hit the thumbs up on your way out. Thanks, guys.